Hello, thank you so much for being here and your interest in joining us for this weekly series, Embracing the In-Between. And it's a journey session where you'll be going deep within your heart space and find that space and that grounding space while we move through a very big shift that's going on with all of creation. It's not just, here where there's a lot of changes going on in the earth and with humanity and everything. All our endeavors are being shifted upside down, turned upside down on itself, and just changing big time. We're fully in the shift. So we are offering this weekly series for you to be able to ground into your space and be able to move in a more malleable, light space when you go out into the world and, anywhere, your job, when you're embracing traffic, when you go out and do your daily errands and dealing with relationship with the self and your family, your friends, your spouse, anyone, so that you can remain more centered. And it also acts as a supplement for your daily practice anyway. So honored to do this and to present something that you may not be fluent with, might be very new to you. Some of you may be coming back, perhaps as a client of mine, that you've experienced this within your own space one-on-one. So it's a nice place to breathe, relax, be with your body, making more space in the body, and to come home to yourself in a way that you haven't felt in a very long time. Okay, so, as the world gets noisier and it gets more intense for the self to be able to adjust to things, it's more than the chaos of the world, politics and the environment, the changes in the weather, and maybe your own dynamics of your friends, your circle of friends, your family. But there's some big things that are happening that the main media and the masses don't really know. They're starting to be curious. They're starting to understand that they can't go to places that they used to be able to go to within the self, even. So this series is a wonderful way to be able to bridge the physical world with all these other etheric dimensions that are very much real, just like when you go to sleep at night or when you leave the physical body for good, called your death experience. It's the same place. So what we'll be doing is bridging the physical, the known world, with the non-physical. And it's endless. Creation is vast, and you are an eternal being. And to get familiar again with how ancient you are, that you are God, and that you assisted in co-creating this place with everybody and everything. And it's expanded, and there's places that don't exist until your consciousness gets there. You're an eternal being, no beginning, no end. And so being in the physical, because the frequencies have been so low for so long, or teetering back and forth, humanity in general lost their connection to the self. And so, even if you have a private practice and perhaps you're joining the series to enhance, again, to give a supplement to your own personal practice, your own meditation practice, or perhaps you meditate with a group. You do yoga, you make room in your body, you exercise, you eat very well, you're choosy, you're very deliberate with your actions and your creation. So again, this series is wonderful for you to be able to enhance. And then, it's creating, a connection too. This is a wonderful connection point for all of us to join in the heart space. So eventually these videos may go live, but for now, everything's live, right? Live, where it's like I put live on YouTube, but everything is happening now. So born now, live now, leave the body now. Everything is in the constant now. And that's another bridge that we'll be doing. So again, some of you are coming from different vantage points when you're joining in on this. You might have been my client before. You may have experienced this somewhere else before with another person, a guide perhaps, or however you did that. Or maybe it's very new to you. So I'm very excited to offer this series for you to be able to experience something that may be very new to you. Okay. It's kind of a way to retrain the self, it's a sweet reminder of who you really are throughout your day. You bring it out through each moment of each day going on until you leave the physical body. That's essentially what's happening to humanity. It's just the majority of people don't know what's going on, and that third dimensional space is, been taken from them in a sense. They can't go to places and spaces within the self and even do actions that they could do before. And even yourself, all of us, even the ones interested in all this and making room and making space within the body and connecting this way, everybody's being affected by the shift. And we're essentially being adjusted, retraining ourselves to walk on a whole new platform of a space that we had forgotten about and that has grown, expanded since we've been in the physical. So humanity is bridging essentially the physicality with the non-physicality. And what religions and spiritualities have talked about throughout the ages, we've come to the point now where we're going to live in a way that is extremely high frequency and of the heart space. And when you're in this heart space, you're intolerant to things that are of a lower vibration, things like, even going to certain emotions, which are needed, but you don't stay very long there. It's just that we've stayed very long time. And when we did that, there's that force, the law of attraction will take it and it will give us more. We didn't know any of this stuff. And this is part of evolution, but it's happening very quickly. And it is a quantum leap in a sense. It's just that if you take that quantum leap too fast, it can interrupt all systems of the body and the physical body. And then things can happen and become, physical, like dis-ease, which is just not being at ease in the physical body with yourself. Okay, so, we'll be touching upon, again, breathing, being centered, relaxing, making space in the body, retraining the self for the connection with the non-physical, with our higher self, our soul, God, creator, however you refer that to be. And, here we're limited with the five senses. We have the taste, touch, hear, see, feel, and there's so many other senses that we'll be getting familiar with as we go through these sessions, okay? There's that knowing, that sense, the imagination, which is the higher mind, that connection to infinite intelligence, connection to all that is. And we're always receiving information. That's how artists and musicians and anybody that creates something, right, of a beautiful work of art is in tune with, whether they realize it or not. And we all are, because we all have the capability to be able to walk a path that has never walked before, meaning that we are walking a path not just knowing that we're physical, our name, our body, our biology, but also walking a path and having that non-physical part of ourselves and knowing that we're connected all the time with them. What we known to be our guardian angels, the spirit animals, our spirit guides, our angels, the lords of light, the archangels, our ancestors, those who have come before. They're all very much interested in what we're doing and very excited about this series. Every time I had a client in the past 8-10 years and we went real deep into these spaces one-on-one, it's just been expanding so much. And there's lots of people who are doing this now, and it is a wonderful network and family that we're all part of. And it's really becoming that happy human family and being in the heart space and caring about how you feel and caring about others, you first, and then you can be there for others. So that sense of being happy, content, satisfied, joyful is all part of the high frequency fifth dimensional consciousness. And this is why humanity, we're moving out of that limited way of perceiving, of that third dimensional way of perceiving. Like there's no way out. Like we're doomed. And that was the whole premise behind, it's the end of a world that doesn't work anymore. It's the end of a world that really has imploded in on itself. And that's why there's a lot going on in the world. And this will also be a good confirmation for those of you who, are kind of wondering what is happening. And you haven't been to these spaces, but very curious. You'll get a lot of your answers. You get a lot of your questions answered. Okay, so it's a type of virtual reality. It's what is known also as remote viewing, but that's what the military called it. They kind of had their hands in on this. Many people know that we travel with our consciousness in dreams. I mean, that's, again, what we're saying at the beginning. We travel in those spaces in dream time, but we also, it's the same space when we leave the physical body, called the spirit world. Was also known as the afterlife. But there is no after, because everything's happening now. You're just a vibrational frequency being that is created this beautiful physical body, and you came here to experience it. So it's a way of realizing you, not just your name, your name that was given to you by your family. It is vibrational, so we all have our names for a reason too, but you're more than that. You're more than your physical body. You're more than this life that you've been living, and you're an eternal being. And so we're projections. We projected into this reality to have a physical experience, and it wasn't meant to be something of suffering. But humanity didn't know that. And so we fell in consciousness, and we've acted this out for a very long time, and the whole script pretty much is ending. And a whole new world is coming into being. And it's a beautiful thing to have happen too. So we've been waiting for this, but there's that old saying that you are the one that you've been waiting for. And so as we go into each of these sessions in this series, you're going to find and be more acquainted with that larger part of yourself, and you're going to have a lot of fun. I've never had anybody come to me and then not feel invigorated, more lively, more spacious, just more full of yourself in a very good way. And then others sense it too. It's a way to relax the body and the mind, and your emotions follow suit, because thoughts are electrical and emotions are vibration. So whatever you're thinking creates a feeling, and you're drawing that to you through the law of attraction. And so to understand how this works is that your emotions matter the most. And so it frees up the space in the body, and you get to play in spaces and to, move that dis-ease out of your body, out of your mind, out of the spaces that don't belong there anymore. And this is a lot where the healers go. If you do healing practice, perhaps you are a healer joining this. You may find your practice expand too as well, going into these sessions. Or you've maybe experienced it with another person that does what you do, and you do trades or something. But it's a very cool thing to do, because you pretty much are the creator of your reality, and you can choose what comes into the body, what comes into the mind, how your emotions are. You really can. It takes practice. And again, that's why these sessions are being offered. So it gives you that nice practice space. But again, it's like that virtual reality we know, instead of putting a helmet on and going into a space that's artificial, you actually have the ability to do it through the third eye, that's your all-seeing eye, and you're able to see the dimensions that exist very well aside us at all times, and have that sight to know that spirit is always in movement and expansion. So it gives you an opportunity to go to places and spaces that you didn't know were there. Again, these places don't exist until you get there. You are expanding creation, making room for others too. And it really has a good ricochet effect off of mass consciousness. So it offers more space for those who are having no idea what's going on. They're just like very curious at this point, and it's becoming obvious with the weather. That's a big one. So the spaces, calling it the embracing the in-between, is because we're here physical, and we're going to be working with the non-physical knowingly. So, and go to places again that make room in the physical body. You just feel more refreshed, you feel better after, and releasing what that ease, that's what dis-ease is. You just take It's dis-ease. You take the hyphen away, it falls in the physical body, and you have a disease that science calls something that, either is going to take or break you. In this space, we literally can have a way so you can direct your thoughts and your emotions into this heart space, so you free up space in the body to release that which no longer belongs to you, because you can't take this baggage with you to the higher frequencies. And so, again, honored to provide the space for you as we go into each of these sessions. It's very relaxing. It will be an hour, 1 hour a week, and we'll just go into the places and spaces where Spirit is directing me to present to you. We all have an entourage. We all have a soul, higher self, however you perceive that to be, that's in the non-physical. And there are many, many aspects and facets. There's many components. There's many of you. You got to think of how ancient you are and how connected you can be. So these spaces are offering you an opportunity to really go back to home base so that you can walk again, full circle round, like I was saying in the very beginning, full circle round, to go off into your life every moment, each hour, throughout the day, every day, throughout the weeks, in the months, as we move further into this fifth dimensional space, where we're knowingly creating a life of ease and grace, and we can do this together. Okay, so I do appreciate you for at least checking this out and see where it's going, and again, tell your friends and family about it, and we'll create a nice network here and a nice space and group family for us to expand more and more into these spaces. Okay. So essentially, this is your birthright, really. You were born knowing all of this. And through life, and most people are just constantly arguing for limitations and constantly had been telling you, your parents or your teachers or your colleagues out there, humanity in general is a nice way to reiterate the fact that you are powerless and that you have no connection, and you're here, and you're lost. It's humanity's been in a space where they haven't been connected, and so this is the big change in consciousness. We are fully here. We were getting massive, frequencies being blasted into our sun from the central sun, and it's coming to Earth. And you can totally tell now with the sun, yes, it's in an 11-year cycle coming to the end of it, but this is bigger. We have billions of years of cycles coming to an end. This is a very big shift. Humanity in general has never ever experienced this before, and you are here now. There's a reason why you are listening to this. There's a reason why you are alive in the physical body at this time, because it is all about you. When you keep centered in your space, in your heart space, and you go off there into the world, boy, can you make a difference for people. And it does take courage. It takes a strong heart to move through this. You'll have your moments of non-clarity, but you'll come back to center eventually. The more you practice, the better you get, and your life just takes off and becomes that beautiful movement in which you started out to do when you were just a little kid, when you were just a baby into a child. Children know this, and these children coming into the world now, they're different. Even 10 years ago, we were 12 years in from when 2012 happened, and that's the big zeroed out time zero happened. And so now we are fully into it. 12 years later, 13 was year 0, and then year 1, 14, 15, year 2, 16, year 3, and on. So we have a totally different mode of being, yet humanity in general, and you may find yourself acting still out the old world. And as the old world falls away and we are creating this new world, a totally new platform, it's already here. And that's how we're able to present these sessions for you. And you are going to be creating it. We are just going to be your guides. Okay, so again, thank you so much for your interest in this wonderful series. It's going to invigorate you, become more centered, be connected to a family that really cares about you. And we all love you so very much. Thank you so much for being here in this life and for doing what you're doing. And yeah, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful space for you. So very excited about this. So, and yep, tune in. And next week we'll start the series and we'll go for it. There will be instructions at the beginning of that for each video because not everybody's going to check out the number 1 and number 2, then 3, and as it goes. So it'll be just a little introduction before we get fully into our space. So yeah, okay, that should be it for now. Again, I appreciate you so much for coming in here, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Thank you so much. So thank you. Namaste.